Welcome to the Microflush Toilet Training Episode 1 video to determine the site of the toilet and the depth of the toilet, digging the foundation, and pouring the Microflush toilet digester floor. We have two kinds of toilets to locate: household toilets and school or community block toilets. We need to determine the physical location on the homeowner's property and the depth of the digester. The depth will be determined by the groundwater table. It is best to avoid low-lying areas where water drains or stands during the rainy season. You can see from this photograph that there are many locations to choose from where the ground is higher and lower depending upon where you select. We need to consider all possible locations around the home to locate the toilet. The property line will also be considered if they are worried about the smell. We have to explain that the toilet will not have mosquitoes, flies, or smell because it is a microflush. The microflush toilet should be placed above the water table during the rainy season. If the water table is high, the digester depth needs to be moved higher to avoid the water table. It is good to discuss the options with the homeowner. High water table locations, the base of the digester is slightly below ground. In low water table locations where it is below 4 feet, the digester can be installed with most of the digester below ground. So the water table should be at least over 1 meter deep for the digester. We want to dig the foundation 7 feet by 4 feet by 3 feet deep, which is 2.1 meters long, 1.2 meters wide, and at least 1 meter deep if the water table is not a concern. And we will construct a frame that is 1.98 meters by 1 meter for the digester floor. And you'll see that we can also have that as a two-piece frame. The soakaway or the soak pit should be 2 feet in diameter or 61 centimeters in diameter, and it should be 5 foot 6 inches deep or 168 centimeters deep. We need a 3-inch diameter pipe or 91 centimeter pipe that will go from the digester pit to the soakaway where the rocks will be stored. The dimension of the soakaway should be 2 feet 6 inches below the bottom of the leachate pipe hole. So roughly it would be 5 foot 6 inches or 168 centimeters if we were putting the digester fully in the ground. The soak pit is 61 centimeters or 2 feet away from the walls of the digester, and the 3-inch or 8 centimeter drain pipe will reach from the floor of the digester to the soak pit. The soak test is done after digging the digester foundation. The 2 foot or 61 centimeter connecting ditch from the digester to the soak pit and the 2 foot or 61 centimeter diameter soak pit. Make sure that the soak pit ditch slopes quickly from the digester floor to the soak pit. The digester pipe will go in the soak pit connecting the ditch. We want to see the water flowing like it is here, where there is plenty of slope, so the water will drain out of the digester. So the digester, the bottom of the digester cement will slope towards this opening where the pipe is located. And then where the man is standing now, that will all be full of rock. And we'll talk about that in a later episode. There are many decisions that the homeowner can make regarding the location of the microflush toilet. The first is this homeowner who chose to build a digester next to her existing washroom. And the second homeowner wanted to build a digester so that the toilet is inside an existing room of the home. So we dug it out, and 2/3 of the toilet digester is inside the home, 1/3 is outside the home where the access panel will be located. And this is the side view of that same home where the soak pit was to the side of the digester so that it would be within the property limits of that homeowner. And that's a very good option that we have, is to put the toilet inside the existing home. The next option is the homeowner did not want the digester near the house, and so the digester is near the tree for shade, and the soak pit has already been covered up, but there's no concern about the water table at this height under the tree. The next location is putting the digester near the property line. The property line will be used if they think it's a pit latrine, so education needs to be made to explain that there is no smell, no flies, and no mosquitoes. We want to make sure we have dug the digester to the proper depth and verify the water table. The ditch from the digester to the soak pit is sloping enough for the water to flow. Now we're mixing the cement that will be used for the digester floor, and we make sure that we have the proper thickness, that it's not too dry, not too wet for the cement to mix well for that floor of the digester. We just keep adding water to the mix until the cement is looking good. At that point, make sure that we have brought over the cement blocks that will be used for the walls of the digester. We need the frames to be put into the pit, and those frames are either one piece that is 1.98 meters times 1 meter in length, or here we're using two frames because they're easier to carry on the back of a tricycle, motorcycle, and the frames are just easier to handle. It's important to remember that the mason will need to work in the pit, so position the frames so there's a foot width on the left, right, front, and top of the frame, so as the cement is drying, you can still have a mason putting up the walls without stepping on the cement floor while it's drying. And so that is really a critical piece, is giving the mason space to work. The next piece is to wet down the area and tie the rebar into sections that can be put into the frame. And then once we've got the rebar and wet down the location, then the next step is to fill the frame full of cement with the rebar and the cement, then let that dry. So that is the work that is done in the first episode. We've learned how to determine where at the site to build the microflush toilet, the dimensions of the digester, the soak pit ditch, and the soakaway. So too, we will learn how to start putting the blocks on top of the digester foundation and how to slope the digester floor towards the soak pit.